Is the 80-hour work week dangerous? A very important that needs to be answered. My name is Joseph Darling. This is the Men of High Value channel. We're on a mission to make you a ballistic missile, and on that journey, we're gonna have some haters. And I wanted to tackle one of those. I wouldn't really call this guy a hater. I really appreciate all of his comments for the time that he's been on my channel, but his comment needs to be discussed, and I'm going to go through it thoroughly today because is it actually dangerous to do the 80-hour work week? Join me. This 80-hour work week is an extremely dangerous philosophy. So you've already heard me. I wouldn't be promoting the 80-hour work week if it was extremely dangerous. There is nothing extremely dangerous about it, but there are some precautions that you need to take, and we're going to discuss them in the video, so stay tuned. He continues, that's not a solution for anything. The 80-hour work week. Not for earning money, nor for staying away from prawn or M. So basically addictions. It is a solution for something. In fact, for most of you, it's the solution for everything. Let's think about this. He's saying that's not a solution for anything. Not for earning money, nor for staying away from prawn or other addictions. Not the solution for anything. My friends, for most of you guys, the only thing that you need is a massive work ethic to get what you want. Have you heard about the 10,000 hours? I have a very practical approach to success. The 10,000 hours, if you put that into a business niche of some sort that you've chosen, you're going to get massive results from it if you actually keep improving and getting better at it. The 80 hours just allows you to make it 2 times, 3 times, or 5 times faster than someone who's putting in 40 hours a week. That's all that the 80 hours does. But let's talk about the thing that he says it's not a solution for. It's not a solution for earning money. If you're doing 40 hours a week, you're gonna be making what you're making. If it's 10 bucks an hour, you times that, it's about 160, so it's about $1,600 per month, okay? Now we're talking 10 bucks per hour, which is extremely low wage, and you should be able to get jobs that pay more than that if you're in a first world country. But let's just say that that's the situation. If you have a normal full-time job, you get 2 part-time jobs on the side of that, and you do the 80-hour work week, you've literally doubled your salary. You doubled it. Like, so how can that not be a solution for making more money, right? Put in the work, get the results. Input equals output. Let's continue. Being overworked will certainly bring a person in a state of illness, even after a short period of time. If working 80 hours continues for an extended period of time, it will be irreversible. Heavy physical damage and very likely mental too. Okay, so what is really overworked? Is it possible for a person to be overworked? Yes, it is. Is it possible for someone to train way too hard? Yes, it is. At some point, there very often is some sort of a burnout. When it comes to training, very often it's because of a lack of rest and lack of good nutrition. That's what causes burnout when it comes to training. So you can't really say that it's too much training that was the problem. It was the fact that he didn't rest and he didn't have good enough nutrition. It's kind of the same way when it comes to the 80-hour work week. It's 11 and a half hours every single day. You literally have 12 and a half hours left of that 24 hours for you to get sufficient amount of rest and sufficient amount of nutrition. And then you can go back to work the next day. Literally, you're resting more than you are putting in work. 24 hours, 11 and a half hours work, 12 and a half hours rest. So how much rest do you need, right? I don't think you need more than 12 and a half hours of non-work in order for you to process the difficult 11 and a half hours that you went through that day. 11 and a half hours is a normal thing for masculine men. Feminine men, maybe they have bigger problems because they don't want to work at all. But if you want to become a masculine man who actually achieves great things and wants to be an entrepreneur, 11 and a half hours every day is nothing, literally. Let's keep going. It is not irreversible. In fact, it doesn't create any issues whatsoever if you keep it to 80 hours. He continues, humans are not capable of enduring so much stress. Body needs to rest, We've explained that. Most people who are not white-collar workers are anyway overworked and underpaid in their 8-hour workdays. Now, that depends. I still think 8 hours is easily done by construction workers, the people with the heaviest loads. I understand they're doing amazing work out there, and we appreciate the effort that they're putting in. But even a construction worker, if he wants his freedom, those 8 hours is not sufficient. He'll have to put in at least 3.5 hours on the side in his business every single day for him to be able to get the freedom from those 8 hours of working that blue-collar job. We have to recognize that that's how the system works. If you want your freedom, you got to put in the work after those 8 hours. It's what you do the other 8 hours that's crucial, right? So 8 hours for working a full-time job, and then 8 hours for sleep. What do you do with those other 8 hours? And that's what I recommend, is that you put in 3.5 hours of work of those 8 hours, and then you have 4.5 other hours that can be used for taking care of nutrition, making sure that you've got social, and making sure that you have a calm and rested mind. If you want to use meditation, if you want to read books, if you want to go to the theater, if you want to do wholesome activities that rejuvenates you for you going out there and doing it again tomorrow. And let's continue. If a person is doing all this to only stay away from prawn and retain, he will very soon drift back to his old habits. Now, doing the 80-hour work week is not only to get over your addiction. It is the best way to get over your addictions, because you are going to become obsessed about other things, like, for example, freedom and business and entrepreneurship, because you've put yourself in a lockdown situation of, I have to go to work or else I get fired. And if I get fired, then I have to replace that job, and I don't want to replace that job. So I'm going to keep those jobs until I've replaced them with business income or better jobs. But it's not just for addictions, but it does work for addictions too. That's the cool part. You're not going to be watching that much prawn when you're doing the 80-hour work week. You're not going to be doing a lot of weed. You're not going to be having tons of addictions if you actually follow through with this philosophy of the 80-hour work week. So it's not an extremely dangerous philosophy. It's actually one of the best philosophies on planet Earth. There's no one talking about this topic, and that's why I've become the 80-hour week guy online. Is way better than the SR guy, to be honest. Because the 80-hour work week solves everything, as long as you couple it with the entrepreneurial mindset so that you get out of the 80-hour work week of working for other people, meaning for other bosses. But you have to couple it with the entrepreneurial mindset so that you can replace those jobs, so that you can start working for yourself and building your business to find solutions for all humankind. Don't stay in those 3 jobs forever. That would be ridiculous. He continues, getting ahead can only be done by learning how a human's mind operates, and that can be done only through NLP. NLP, what is that? Neuro-linguistic programming, and this is something that Anthony Robbins has been speaking about for 2 decades already, if not more. And it is a very powerful practice that you learned through coaching. And you can study it, you can get books on it. I actually, you know what? I don't recommend it. He's telling us that you people study NLP. You will find all of your answers there. There's definitely answers there. You will become better at understanding human beings and their brains if you actually study that stuff. I'm not against it at all, none whatsoever. But you will learn more about your psychology by doing the 80-hour work week, because you're putting yourself in a stressful situation. I didn't say it wasn't stressful, but I'm just saying that it's not that stressful that it becomes dangerous. Now, the thing that he responds to after I replied, now that's very interesting. We have to go through that. But first, what did I say? Thank you for sharing. Neuro-linguistic programming is great. Combine it with the 80-hour work week and you'll see astonishing results. There's no reason to fear the 80-hour work week. All the legends have done it, and some even exceed it. Elon Musk, for a long period of time, said 100 hours a week. Now, he's the richest man on planet Earth, and he still is, so he hasn't had any breakdown. He's not going slower. In fact, he's actually beginning to speed up by trying to compete with YouTube with his freaking Twitter X thing, right? It's kind of insane what Elon Musk has been capable of doing. I'm not saying that it has been healthy what he's done work-wise, but the legends do a lot of work. And we just simply have to recognize that. And if you want to be among the absolute legends in business, you cannot compete with the 40-hour work week or less, or even 60 for that matter. 80 hours, if done right, is 100% sustainable. 3 slave jobs temporarily, business forever, okay? I'm not recommending keeping 3 jobs. Again, I reiterate, I do not recommend staying in slave jobs forever. I'm saying start your business on the side and then get rid of them slowly but surely over time once the work ethic is massively there and you've gotten rid of all of your distractions. Now he replies again. 2 years ago, I had a chance to work 80 hours a week for 2 consecutive weeks. So he only did it for 2 weeks. But it's not the 80-hour work week, as you'll come to notice. I promised my friend to overtake his job because he had to go home in another country for 2 weeks due to some family problems. His job was to deliver car parts at night, okay? Emphasize that, to repair shops. So after finishing my job at 10 o'clock or 10 p.m., I would go home and sleep for 1 to 2 hours. Okay, first of all, that's never, ever going to be sustainable. If you ever want to do something stressful, right? Like the 80-hour work week, for example, or training extremely hard, becoming an athlete, whatever it is that requires a lot of brain change happening, you need always 8 hours of sleep. And there's one thing that I'm very tough on when it comes to the 80-hour work week is never ever work night shifts. Ever. It is the most silly thing to do, and it will destroy you in the long run. And yes, that might actually be irreversible. For a period of time, I worked weekends driving Uber during the night because I got paid twice as much or 3 times as much when I did those shifts. Do I recommend that for other people? No, I don't. Working night shift ruins your entire day's work. And it actually will burn you out over time because the body needs 8 hours of sleep every night. There's even people saying you only need 7 or 6 hours. I'm highly against that. I am for 8 hours of sleep and doing it during the nighttime. You'll never see me say anything else on this channel. What he did in this example is very dangerous. So it's actually that practice that was extremely dangerous. So if he's talking about the 126-hour work week, then yes, that's not sustainable, and I would never recommend anyone to do this action right here of having 2 full-time jobs and one of them being during the nighttime. Don't do that, okay? It is dangerous. And let's keep going. And to do his job for the next 7 to 8 hours, considering preparation and commuting, it would take me around 9 hours for each job. 126-hour work week. Never, ever do that. After 2 weeks, I was walking dead. Makes complete sense. I can confirm that such lifestyle is definitely not sustainable and extremely dangerous, and I agree. Especially in jobs where you operate machines or driving vehicles, you represent danger for people around you, 100%. I probably almost drove someone into the ditch or crashed when I was doing the Uber driving during the nighttime. It's not safe to be working as much as I was back in the day. It wasn't. But I was literally working during the nighttime, and this was at a time when I was working actually way more than the 80-hour work week. Not sustainable, not recommended, and I have a lot of experience when it comes to this, so please comment down below and I'll answer your questions. And there you go. That's what I wanted to share with you guys, just so that you guys understand when people come with an argument, you need to look at it from an objective standpoint and see, do they have a point? And did he have a point? 100%. Should you ever work the 126-hour work week? No. Should you sleep during the night? Yes. Is the 80-hour work week sustainable? 100%. Is it an extremely dangerous philosophy? Not at all. Fear not, my friends. Keep going with the 80-hour work week. Do the 3 jobs temporarily. Start your business on the side. Make sure that you get mentoring on this so that you don't make silly mistakes and you don't do stuff that actually will put yourself and other people in jeopardy. Just be wise about what you're doing. And trust me, if you're doing the 80-hour work week during the daytime and get 8 hours of sleep every night, you're gonna be just fine. Thank you so much for watching. This is the Men of High Value channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.